They surrounded her at dawn, dozens of wolves, eyes glowing with accusation, claws half-shifted, breath steaming in the cold morning air. Maren didn't run, not because she wasn't terrified, but because she had nowhere left to run. The pack she once called family now hunted her for a crime she did not commit, a betrayal she didn't even understand, a secret she didn't know she carried. And above the mob of growling wolves, one figure stepped through the trees, tall, silent, aura pressing against the world like thunder waiting to break. Alpha Draven Thorn. The same male who once looked her in the eye and said she was nothing, unfit, unworthy, unclaimed. The same male who rejected her under the blood moon. But now his eyes weren't cold. They weren't distant. They were burning, focused on her. Protective. "Stand back," Draven growled to his own pack. Wolves froze mid-snarl. But he wasn't looking at them. He was looking at her. "Maren." His voice roughened. "You shouldn't be out here alone." A bitter laugh escaped her trembling lips. "You made sure I always would be." His jaw tightened. His aura cracked. And the pack, the same wolves who chased her through the night, watched in stunned silence as their alpha stepped between them and the omega they wanted dead. Because only Draven knew the truth. Only Draven could feel the bond he once rejected screaming inside his chest. And only Draven understood the danger. If the pack kept pushing her, if Maren's wolf kept awakening, something ancient buried in her blood would ignite. Something none of them were ready for. Not even him. Before we continue, tell me your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this werewolf world. Maren was born different. Not in the way wolves usually whispered about. Not weak, not shiftless, not broken. Her difference was quieter, deeper, hidden under skin and heartbeat. The elders called her a throwback, a wolf born with dormant blood, a lineage no one wanted to name, a heritage everyone feared. Because rumors of her ancestry carried one warning: if she awakens completely. So the pack clipped her wings before she ever grew them. She was trained last, fed last, sheltered not out of love, but out of fear she didn't yet understand. And she might have lived her whole life unseen, if not for the day her eyes met Draven Thorn's. She didn't understand the spark. She didn't understand the pull. But she knew the ache of it, the longing, the terror, the certainty that fate had carved his name across her soul. Draven felt it too. But an alpha cannot afford destiny when his pack carries old fears. He stood before her under the blood moon, jaw clenched, voice sharp, and delivered the wound that never healed. "I reject you." The bond snapped, or so she thought. Because bonds like theirs don't break. They go dormant, waiting, burning quietly, until the night Maren was accused of a crime that shattered the pack. A scout was found dead on the western ridge. Her scent, stronger than any wolf's, lingered in the snow. Her aura, strange, volatile, was felt across the valley. Every claw of suspicion pointed at her. Maren didn't know how the scent got there. She didn't know how her aura bled into the snow. She only knew fear, fear of her own body. Fear of the wolf inside her she'd never met, fear of the pack ready to kill her, and fear of the alpha who once rejected her, who now stood between her and an execution. Because Draven felt what the pack did not, Maren's wolf had awakened, and its power wasn't dangerous. It was ancient. The kind of power kings once bowed to, the kind of power Draven should have never rejected. But it was too late to undo the wound. It was not too late to protect her, even if it meant turning against his own pack. The forest held its breath. Not a branch snapped. Not a wolf growled. Every pair of eyes was locked on the impossible sight before them. Alpha Draven Thorn. Cold, ruthless, unforgiving Draven was shielding an Omega he had once cast aside. Marin's knees trembled under the weight of so many stares. Hate poured from the pack in waves. Accusation, but fear, distrust. She'd felt unwanted before. She'd felt invisible before. But this was a death sentence, wrapped in the shape of familiar faces. Draven's voice broke through her spiraling panic. "Marin," he murmured, low but firm. "Stay behind me." She hated how her body obeyed. How some instinct older than breath still recognized him as safety. Even when her heart remembered, he'd been the one to break it. The wolves nearest them bristled. "She killed Rowan," one shouted. "She lied about her wolf," snarled another. "She's dangerous," a third snapped. Draven's aura slammed outward like thunder. Several wolves stumbled back, their legs buckling. "No one touches her," he growled. Gasps rippled through the clearing. Beta Lysa stepped forward, eyes flashing. "Draven, you can't protect her." "The evidence is clear. Her scent was all over Rowan's body. We can't ignore that." Marin flinched as dozens of eyes burned into her. She forced her voice through a tightening throat. I wasn't there. I don't know why my scent—" "Liar!" someone barked. "She's finally showing her true nature." "Should have been exiled years ago," Draven snapped. His aura erupted, a violent surge that sent snow spiraling and wolves bowing instinctively. "Enough!" The clearing fell silent. Beta Lysa's voice softened, cautious but steady. "Alpha, if she didn't kill Rowan, then explain the aura we felt. That surge of power, that wasn't an Omega's strength." Marin's pulse pounded painfully. She didn't understand it either. That morning, she'd woken to her room shaking. Her heart beat louder, her skin burning, her senses sharp in ways she couldn't explain. Something was changing, something inside her had begun to awaken, and she had no idea how to stop it. Draven's voice cut through her panic. "She didn't kill Rowan." "How do you know?" a warrior demanded. Draven turned his head slightly, just enough for his eyes to meet hers. "The bond," he said quietly. "I felt it." The clearing erupted into shocked gasps. Marin's breath left her body. No, he couldn't say that. Not here. Not in front of all these wolves who already wanted to tear her apart. "Liar," a wolf cried. "You rejected her. You severed the bond." Draven shook his head. "I severed nothing," his voice cracked. "I should have known then. A bond like ours doesn't break." Marin stared at him, unable to breathe. He continued, "When Rowan died, I felt Marin's panic. Her confusion, her pain. She wasn't near the body. She wasn't even awake. The bond wouldn't have shown me that if she were guilty." Marin's knees gave out. Draven caught her before she hit the ground. His hands were warm around her arms, steady, anchoring. Her voice broke against the cold air. "You don't get to do this," she whispered. "You don't get to protect me now." His jaw clenched. "I should have protected you from the beginning." A fresh wave of whispers rippled through the pack. Beta Lysa frowned. "Draven, if Marin didn't kill Rowan, then who did?" Draven's expression darkened. "That's what we're going to find out." A cold wind sliced through the clearing, sharp, unnatural, chilling every wolf to the bone. Marion's wolf stirred, whimpering deep inside her. Something was wrong. Something was coming, something powerful enough to frame her, manipulate her aura, mimic her scent. Draven sensed it too. He stepped closer, his chest brushing her back as he whispered, "Stay with me, Marin. Whatever's hunting you, It isn't of this pack. Her breath trembled, because for the first time since her rejection, she believed him, and somewhere beyond the tree line, hidden by frost and shadow, eyes watched them, waiting. Draven didn't take her back to the central pack grounds. He didn't take her to the dungeons, or the council chambers, or the healer's wing, where an accused wolf would normally be detained. He took her to his territory, past the barrier stones, past the borders only trusted wolves were allowed to cross, past the frost-lit cliffs that protected his private den, a place no Omega had ever been invited. Marine's breath shook as she stepped inside. The cavern was carved with glowing runes, warm with firelight, lined with pelts and stone shelves. The air hummed with Draven's scent, dark pine winter storm, iron discipline. Her wolf pushed up against her ribs, unsettled. This den was sacred, forbidden, alpha only. She shouldn't be here. Draven sensed her hesitation. "You're safe," he said quietly. "No one can reach you here." "I shouldn't be anywhere near you," she snapped, fear and anger melting together in her chest. "I'm the pack's enemy right now. You protecting me only makes things worse." His gaze softened, a rare fracture in his usual stone-hard demeanor. "They already wanted you dead," he said. "Me protecting you only exposes the truth." Her voice cracked. "Which is that the pack always feared what you could become." Maren felt her heartbeat stutter. She paced away from him, fingers shaking. "You're talking as if I'm some kind of threat." "You are." She froze. Draven stepped closer. Not aggressive, but certain. "Not to me," he said softly. "Never to me, but to someone." She swallowed. "You think whoever killed Rowan is the same person who manipulated my scent?" His jaw tightened. "I don't think... I know." "How?" "Because the aura around Rowan's body wasn't yours." Maren stared at him. "What do you mean?" Draven moved to a carved stone table, pulling out a strip of fabric sealed in a rune-lit container. "This is Rowan's mantle. I took it before the council arrived." He opened it carefully. A surge of corrupted magic rippled into the air, dark, sharp, bitter. Maren stumbled back. What is that?" "Witchcraft," Draven said. "Specifically, a scent-binding spell." Her stomach turned. "But wolves don't use witchcraft." "No," he murmured. "But someone wanted the world to think you did." Her heart hammered against her ribs. "So someone framed me?" "Yes." Maren felt the ground tilt. All this time, the fear, the hatred, the accusations, it had all been engineered. But why? Her voice came out barely a whisper. "Why would anyone want to destroy me?" Draven inhaled slowly. "Because of what you are." The room fell silent. Maren stared at him, trembling. What am I?" Draven didn't answer at first. Instead, he walked closer, slow, deliberate, controlled, until he stood inches from her. She could feel his aura wrapping around her like a storm desperately trying not to touch the ground. "When the bond snapped during the rejection ceremony," he said quietly, "I felt something I wasn't supposed to feel." Her breath caught. "I felt your wolf." Marine shook her head. "That's impossible. I've never shifted." "You haven't," he said. "But your wolf is awake and powerful." She felt dizzy. "No, that can't be right. I would know." "You would," he said, "if you weren't suppressing it." Marin's breath faltered. "I'm not." "Yes, you are." His voice dropped into something deep, rough, ancient. "You've been suppressing your wolf since childhood. I felt it pushing against your skin the night I rejected you." I ignored it. I shouldn't have. Her chest tightened painfully. You're saying I have a wolf strong enough to frighten people? I'm saying... Draven stepped even closer, eyes unguarded for the first time. Your wolf is everything they fear, and everything I should have protected. Maren looked away, tears threatening. You broke me, Draven, she whispered. You tore the bond apart in front of everyone. He closed his eyes, guilt shattering across his features. I know. And now you want me to trust you? No, he said softly. I want you to survive. She lifted her chin, trembling. You still haven't answered my question. What am I? Draven let out a breath he had held for years. You're not Omega-born like we believed, he said. You're blood-marked. The world stopped. Maren's heart dropped. Blood-marked. The old legends. The cursed lineage. The wolves born with ancient magic in their veins. No, she whispered. That line died centuries ago. Not all of it. Her throat tightened. You're saying I'm... He nodded. One of the last true lunar blood wolves. Her vision blurred with shock. Lunar blood wolves. Rare, feared, revered wolves whose powers awakened under threat. Wolves the Moon, herself marked wolves who could reshape pack hierarchy with a heartbeat. No wonder someone framed her. No wonder Draven rejected her. No wonder her wolf felt too big for her bones. Maren stepped back, shaking. If that's true, she whispered, everyone will come for me. Draven's gaze hardened. Not if they go through me first. Before she could respond, the ground trembled, a low, unnatural vibration that rattled the runes on the walls. Draven stiffened. His aura surged. They found us. Maren froze. Who? He grabbed her wrist, pulling her behind him as shadows gathered outside the den entrance. Wolves who want you dead, he growled, and someone powerful enough to lead them. Her wolf surged beneath her skin. A flash of silver, a whisper of power, a warning. Maren met Draven's eyes. Then don't protect me, she whispered. Let me fight. The entrance of Draven's den shook under the force of the assault. Shadows flickered across the stone walls. Wolves snarled outside, claws scraping, magic humming in the air like a coming storm. Maren's pulse pounded. Her wolf paced violently beneath her skin, pushing, clawing, demanding release. But she pushed it back, with trembling hands. Not yet, not like this, not without control. Draven stood in front of her, gaze locked on the shadows moving outside the barrier stone. Stay behind me, he ordered. She lifted her chin. No. His aura snapped with frustration. This isn't the time for defiance. It's the only time, she cut in, stepping beside him. I won't hide while others fight for me. His jaw clenched, conflict tearing across his features. Before he could argue, a voice drifted into the den, smooth, cold, and laced with dark magic. Alpha Draven, hand over the girl. Maren froze. That voice. It felt like poison, like the same corrupt magic she'd sensed on Rowan's mantle. Draven stepped forward, his growl echoing off the stone. Show yourself, coward. The shadows parted. A tall figure stepped into view. Cloaked in black, eyes glowing with witchlight. Maren staggered back. Witch? A cruel smile curved his mouth. Yes, little lunar blood. You finally sense me. Her heart lurched. He knew what she was. He knew what she carried. Draven's aura exploded outward. You killed Rowan. The witch tilted his head. You should thank me. The boy was merely bait. His gaze slid to Maren. And she walked right into the trap. Maren's stomach twisted. Why me? Because your bloodline is the key, the witch said. And because your power does not belong with wolves. Draven's snarl shook the ground. You'll die before you lay a hand on her. The witch raised a hand. Dozens of wolves from Draven's own pack, stepped into view behind him, eyes glazed with spellcraft, bodies trembling under magical control. Maren gasped. Draven. They're not here by choice. I know, he said bitterly. The witch's smile widened. Alpha, your pack bows to me, because you failed to see what the girl is. But don't worry. When I take her power, your wolves will be free. Maren's heart cracked open. He wanted her power, her blood, her lineage. Stop talking, Draven said, stepping forward, aura roaring. And fight me. No, Maren whispered, grabbing his arm. He froze. Her voice trembled, but her eyes shone with something new. Strength. This isn't your battle, it's mine. The witch sneered. Let the little Omega speak. Maren stepped forward, ignoring Draven's growl of protest. I may be Luna blood, she said, voice shaking, but I will never belong to you. The witch laughed. My dear, the moon marked you for power, not courage. Maren's wolf surged, furious. Show him. Her vision blurred with silver. Her skin tingled. Her heartbeat thundered so loudly it shook loose stones from the ceiling. Draven's eyes widened. Maren, your aura is... But the witch moved faster. A blast of dark energy shot from his hand, racing toward her. Maren threw her arms up, and something inside her snapped. Light exploded from her body, pure silver, moonlit, ancient. The blast shattered against her shield, disintegrating into dust. The witch stumbled back, stunned. Draven stared at her, as though seeing her for the first time. Goddess, Maren. She didn't hear him. Her wolf was rising. Let me out. Maren's breath broke. No, not yet. Another blast shot toward Draven. Maren didn't think. She moved. Silver energy surged from her hands, knocking the spell aside and slamming the witch into the stone wall with a sickening crack. Her body trembled as magic pulsed through her veins. Wolves, under the witch's control, staggered, the spell weakening, their eyes flickering back to awareness. Draven caught her as she nearly collapsed. Maren, what did you just do? She clutched his arm, breath shaking. I don't know. I didn't shift. I didn't mean to. You didn't shift, he said, voice thick with awe. You channeled lunar magic. She stared at him, horrified, or... That's impossible. But the witch rose from the debris, wiping blood from his lips. Not impossible, he snarled. Unstable. He lifted both hands, power coiling like a vortex. Draven shoved Maren behind him. Get back. No, she cried, grabbing his hand. You can't take that alone. Their auras collided. Silver and gold, wolf and moon, bond and bloodline. A shockwave blasted through them as the dormant connection between their souls roared to life. The bond Draven had tried to sever, the bond Maren had tried to forget, the bond that refused to die. Magic surged through them, bright and unstoppable. The witch screamed. The wolves under his control dropped to the ground. The runes in the cavern lit up like fire, and Maren felt her wolf shatter through her bones. Not to destroy her, but to save her. She straightened, eyes glowing full silver. Draven, she whispered. I think I'm ready. He stared at her, heart pounding, every piece of him trembling at the sight of the woman he once rejected, now standing like a goddess, reborn. Maren, he breathed. You were never weak. Her aura flared. The witch lunged, and Maren let her wolf rise. For the first time, The witch struck first. Dark magic tore through the den like a storm wind, ripping stone from the walls, sending shockwaves through the ground. The air crackled with the force of his fury, a sorcerer who realized too late that his prey had awakened. Maren didn't run. She stepped into the blast. Silver light erupted from her body in a sweeping arc, splitting the magic in two, as if cleaving shadow from moonlight. Her wolf, no longer trapped, no longer suffocating, rose around her in shimmering outlines. Not a full shift, not yet, but power, raw, unrestrained, ancient. Draven watched, with widening eyes, equal parts awe and terror. Maren, wait, don't take him alone. She didn't listen. This time, she didn't need him to save her. She needed him to stand with her. The witch hurled another attack. Moraine lifted her hand, and the blast dissolved into sparks before it could touch her. He recoiled. Impossible. Your kind died centuries ago. Maren stepped forward, voice steady. You should have left them dead. She pushed her palms outward. Moonfire burst from her fingertips, slamming the witch back into the cavern wall with so much force the stone cracked behind him. Draven surged beside her now, golden aura blazing like a wildfire. I'm with you, he whispered. And for the first time in her life, Maren believed him. The witch snarled, lifting his staff. A torrent of shadow magic spiraled toward them, twisting and shrieking. Maren's wolf pressed against her ribs. Now, together. She reached for Draven's hand. He took it without hesitation. Their auras collided. Silver moonlight, golden wildfire. Bond and fate, and regret and forgiveness twisting into one unstoppable force. The blast erupted from them, a force so bright it swallowed the cavern whole. The witch screamed, ran, no, not ran, fled. His spell shattered, the wolves under his control collapsing as the magic bled from their eyes. But the witch himself vanished in a whirl of shadow, escaping through a rift carved in the stone. Maren gasped, falling to her knees. The surge of power drained from her in a violent rush. Draven caught her before she hit the ground, arms wrapping around her with a desperation that cracked something inside her chest. Easy, he whispered, voice shaking. Don't push yourself. You're not used to your wolf yet. She leaned into him, trembling. She's strong, too strong. Draven cupped her face gently. She's perfect. Her throat tightened. She wanted so badly to believe him. Wolves began stirring at the den entrance. Draven's warriors waking from the witch's control. Several gasped at the sight of her glowing aura. Others bowed instinctively, sensing what she had become. A lunar blood, a wolf of prophecy, a threat, or a queen. Maren tensed. They're all staring at me. They should, Draven murmured. You saved them. She pulled back slightly. You don't understand. The pack won't want me. They never did. Draven's expression shifted, painful, raw, shattered with guilt. They didn't know you, he said. Neither did I. Her breath caught. He lowered his head, voice cracking. Maren, I have to say this. She shook her head, fear prickling along her spine. No, not now. Yes, he whispered. Now. He sank to one knee. She froze. Wolves watched in stunned silence as their alpha bowed his head at the feet of the Omega he once rejected. Maren, Draven said, voice breaking with every word. I rejected you because I was a coward. Because I feared the bond. Because I feared what you'd become and how small that made me feel. Tears filled her eyes. I hurt you, he whispered, and I would spend a lifetime making it right if you let me. Draven. He lifted his gaze, golden, trembling, unguarded. You are not wanted by the pack because of your power. They want you because of what you showed them today. They want you because you are hope after years of darkness. And his voice cracked. I want you because fate never let me forget you. Maren stood trembling, half fury, half forgiveness, all heartbreak. And what if I don't forgive you? She whispered. Draven bowed lower. Then I will still protect you. Until I die. Her wolf whined inside her, a soft, wounded sound. Maren knelt before him, lifting his face with trembling fingers. You hurt me, she said. I know. You broke me. I know. And I wanted to hate you. His breath hitched. But I can't, she whispered, tears falling. Not when the bond never died. Draven surged forward, pulling her into his arms, burying his face in her neck as his voice cracked. I'm yours, Maren, if you'll ever take me back. She closed her eyes, feeling his heartbeat, steady warm, calling to her in a rhythm older than the moon. Then stand with me, she whispered, because the witch will return, and when he does, we fight as one. Draven nodded, breath unsteady. As one, he vowed. Wolves bowed around them, not to fear, not to force, but to the truth awakening in the cavern. The Alpha who once rejected her now knelt at her side. Because she was no longer the Omega, they dismissed. She was the lunar blood wolf, destined to change their world. In the ruins of the den where she had once been hunted, Maren rose at the Alpha's side, no longer rejected, no longer alone, but finally claimed by a destiny that refused to let her break.